My best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. I saw no shadow, I looked around, searched every building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt the glow. The warmth inside me, it kept me afloat. It felt like heaven, it found my bones and gave me comfort when I feel alone. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. My best friend to 23. I heard the heavens crying above me. They gained an angel, I lost a friend. I felt like dying again and again. I went through hell, stared at death, but I keep fighting with each living breath. I saw no way out from where I stood. Felt like the fire had burned me for. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend. Inside your self-righteous symphony, I would rather let this go than to bring it up again. But
What is going on, nerds? That is right. That is right. You didn't hear Jeff. You don't see Jeff. You see me. You see our illustrious guest, Ethan, but you don't see Jeff. I wonder why that is. Jeff is actually in Florida right now. He brought his laptop and he was all gung ho about being on the show. And you know what? He's like, my connection's garbage. I don't have a good place to do it. I'm like, do it in the bathroom and blur out the background. But he saved you from that fate. So Jeff is not with us today, but we do have Ethan Duvetter from. Would you like to be referenced as like mule fishing, or do you like to be referenced as the online outdoorsman? I went with online outdoorsman, but I don't know which way. Which way do we
You can
want to go?
reference me however you want. Honestly, I've been called a lot worse things. So, online outdoorsman, the owner of mule fishing, that works. It don't matter to me.
Nailed it. And recently new father. So welcome to the club, my friend.
Yeah, man, 6 months old, and he's freaking amazing. Literally, so much fun right now.
It is the absolute best. We're really excited to have you. One of our few I would say repeat offenders, but it's like so much better. You're our like repeat guest. Maybe someday. I think someday soon. When we're not like dad exhausted, you could actually. I think you actually could and should take either Jeff or my's job on a Thursday night. We had Debo do it one time, worked very well. I think Ethan. I think he'd be great. I think maybe we're gonna have to hook
Love
that
to,
up.
honestly. I love like just I do live streams on Instagram a lot of times, just totally like randomly. I never like plan them out. I just do them. But I always have fun going live and talking to people. And I think there's a lot of people that kind of, you know, watch both of us. So I think
Oh
it'd be a lot
heck
of
yeah!
fun.
We are at cross purposes, and we have some cross people in the chat. So welcome everyone in chat. If you have questions, please feel free to drop them. We got a lot of congrats, Ethan, on being a dad, which I love to see that.
Hey, thanks,
Jeff
buddy.
is traveling. So Mark Terrio, Jeff is traveling. He's hanging out with the fam. I actually think he's going to do some fishing tomorrow. He said, and I quote, with a random old man. I'm assuming that old man is not watching the show and will not be offended by Jeff calling him a random old man. But Jeff is fishing with somebody tomorrow, and he does have a camera. So I'm editing up a video that I actually have to finish tonight. I'm not thrilled with it. I got 2/3 the way done last night, and it was like 12:30, and I was out of gas. I completely ran out of fuel, and so I saved the rest for tonight. But maybe I'll be editing Jeff's personal best. Maybe salt species um, from Florida. That would be kind of rad.
You edit all the videos?
God, no, 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 no. I would have quit a long time ago, or demanded far
I
more
feel like
pay.
you're always talking about editing videos like super late in the night. And
It's kind of well, as
how
you
many
know,
videos are you putting out? Like,
it's calmed down a lot over winter because we kind of like we stepped back. So we were doing 3 a week. We stepped back to 2 a week. So now that it's 2 a week, we're basically 50-50. So, but like, if he's gone, right, I'm not going to like make him basically edit on vacation, like family vacation. So I'll take a hit for that one. It's not a problem. But yeah, we pretty much split the duties. But then when it's 3, it kind of depends on who's got the bandwidth. And I basically, my week's like very planned. It's like, well, now that my kids I don't have childcare right now, so my day is a nightmare. Just like my whole, week is a nightmare. But like my typical day would be like, get up, go to the gym, get kids ready to do like all the kid things that they do work stuff, until like 5-ish or whatever. Walk the dog, eat dinner, the race to bedtime at 8 o'clock. Then I hang out with my wife for like an hour, hour and a half, and at like 9:30 or so, I will edit until 11:30 12. And I do that Monday, Wednesday, or Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Some Tuesdays we have members only, which we had this week, so I wasn't able to edit Tuesday. And then Thursday we have the show, and I usually don't, unless I absolutely have to, edit after the show. And then I can do Friday, but Friday's tough because I have to do it during the day because it comes out at 6. So, and I
I
don't like
love
to
it.
wait for the deadline. So I like to do all
Hey,
my
man.
editing on Sunday night for the Monday video or Saturday night for the Monday video. And then I'll do all my editing for Friday either the week before if it's available, but usually it's Wednesday night. So,
It's funny how when you're passionate about something and actually like get excited about something, how much it doesn't feel like work.
oh,
But at the end of the day, it is work. So I mean, people got to give you credit on that. So Paul, I mean, huge respect for the amount of work you put into it. I mean, it's tough. I'll walk you through. Here's my kind of like my day
yeah, I was going to
schedule.
say, hit me with I want to know
Yeah.
the Ethan dad schedule.
So basically, my weekday schedule. I enjoy my weekends and I spend a lot of time with my family, or fish or whatever, or do a little bit of both, hopefully. But Monday through Friday, get up at 4:30 in the morning. I work on mule till about 6 a.m. I then work out. After I work out, sometimes I'll try to help get Charlie up, and then usually get showered and ready for work. Eat a little breakfast, go to work, come home over lunch, maybe eat a little lunch, take dog out, maybe get a thing or two done for mule, and then go back to work, come back from work, and then basically I help with Charlie until basically dinner time. Then we kind of like together help with Charlie while we're eating, and he's just kind of hanging out. And then I give him a bath some nights. Just kind of depends on the day. And it depends on how dry his skin is, dad
Oh,
stuff.
dude. Yeah. I'm always like, how much food did you get in your hair? Like tonight was not supposed to be a bath night, but I did a bath because she took like
Or did you
something
poop and have a
sticky.
poop explode all over yourself? Yeah, well, maybe you get a bath tonight.
If you get a poop explosion anytime after noon, it's a bath night. 100%.
Yeah, well, we all live by those rules, but the point is, so then I give him his bath, and Jocelyn feeds him one last time, and he goes down to bed, and then we usually get an hour together, and then I usually hit the sack at about 8:39 because, like I said, I get up at 4:30. But I like a schedule, man. I like having just like knowing what I'm gonna do, and I like working out in the morning. I like having my things, and I'm just very much a scheduled person. I've always been early bed, early to rise, like even as a kid. So I don't know though. I ultimately, when I hear you talking about all this, I just want to say like, man, I appreciate it. I respect it. It's certainly a lot of work, but I can relate.
Yeah, I know you can relate. If you guys don't know, Ethan, while being a new dad, which I think is a unique challenge if you're trying to put out content consistently, is running a tackle company that, in my mind, is like one of my absolute favorites. And we got to give a quick shout out, Camp Waffle Stomper, one of our all time favorites. And if you don't know what Waffle Stomper is all about, it's like hiking because you're like laying down some treads, which I'm glad we asked about that. It makes way more sense
Yeah,
now.
I would have definitely thought something else, but I
I
don't.
know. This is good. So I'm gonna clarify that. But one of our all time faves, Camp Wild Stopper, $10 super chat. Thank you so much. And she had a question. So the question was, Ethan, I buy all caps a lot of your baits. So thanks for making good quality ultralight stuff. Could you consider making Donkey Tail Juniors in a June bug color?
Hmm, it's interesting. I don't know that I've heard that color before, but I definitely think I want to expand the color selection at some point. I will be honest, I always love these live streams because it allows me a chance to kind of explain things a little bit more transparently and then be open to more questions right away. So please feel free to ask follow-up question. But the biggest challenge as a small company with a lot of colors is just the cost of holding lots of inventory. And if I was to have like 20 colors, it just ultimately costs a lot of money to have 20 colors available. So that's been my challenge to date. That being said, like I said, as I grow the company, my goal is to continue to offer more and more, because I agree there's probably some room for some new colors and flavors, if you will. But yeah, definitely a good suggestion. I like the June bug. That's definitely a tried and true color. So I'll look
Oh,
into
dude. You know we at Burly Fishing love our purple and we love our June bugs.
that.
I will say this before we get into it. So, kind of stole my thunder, Camp Waffle Stomper. So we are going to talk a little bit about mule fishing. I got to get the glare off here. This is garbage. Let's see if we get there. It is. And Ethan's got the hat on, so you get the idea. This is the donkey tail. This is my favorite bait. So this is Ethan. What's your elevator speech for like mule fishing? Like, how do you when someone's like, what's mule? Is it mule?
If
Mule?
anyone's saying mule, then they're not from America, and that's okay. I mean, like I would explain it, but um, no, I mean it's like I said fishing supplies that outwork a mule, and the reason is I wanted something that is simplified and works hard for the angler. So really, this is light line gear designed for multi-species anglers. So that's it. Light line gear designed for multi-species anglers. Simple approach.
This is to me like when I think of mule fishing, this is all I can think of. I have to rack my brain to think of anything else. This is the donkey tail. This is the best bait that's been created ever. I broke my PB. I don't know if I told you this story. I broke my
Where's
personal
that?
best. I broke my personal best um, 3 times in 2 weeks on smallmouth. on Lake St. Clair with the exact same plastic and the exact same matched jig. Literally the actual physical exact same one. And I still have it tied on. I'm not kidding you.
Yes,
Like
love that.
catching, and it was actually on the 5'6", the 13 fishing ultralight. I
Oh,
I
so it was your you not only caught your PB 3 times or whatever, but it was on a ultralight too. I
in
thought
a
it was on
kayak.
a typical Ned rig rod or
And
something.
the second time, it was with my son in between my like, sitting in my lap in my
Oh,
boat. I have a picture of me with my son, and I'm holding up it was a 4-pound, 8-ounce smallmouth.
why are
Um,
you not recording this? Do you not have a
I
video?
it was okay, I have a okay,
Photos.
this is a sto so, at our cottage in Canada, which is, like, our, like, vacation spot, it's, like, our, our place to go hang out, it's on Lake St. Clair, so I can bring my kayak, and I can actually just, like, leave it tied up to the seawall or, like, out in the water. So, in the morning, Walker will get up way before everybody else, he's up at, like, 5:30, 6 o'clock, and
I was
so
like a cool kid.
it is the best. So I sleep on the couch and I'll be like, he's up and I don't want to like wake everyone else up, right? It's vacation. Like everyone's sleeping till 8:30, 9 o'clock, right? So I'll okay, like grab him. We'll go outside and he's like very calm. He's like super chill. So we can just grab food. I can put him in the kayak and I can pedal out and I can fish. And he loves to fish. He loves to see fish get caught. So like I don't take anything else. This is literally it. I don't even honestly, most of the time, I don't even bring another bag. I just bring the one because, like, I have it on braid, so I'm not gonna break off. And so I'll just go out and I'm just looking to catch a couple bass or maybe some like, so like perch or white perch or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm casting around and I go to like my favorite pile of rocks and yeah, I got it. I nailed a freaking giant. It was like a 22-inch smallmouth. I'm like, this is absolute insanity. Then
The fact that you
the
caught that on an ultralight too is just
it was
impressive.
completely bonkers, but here's the craziest part. The next week, I catch a 5-pounder. What?
Son of a
On the
gun, where was
exact
my invite?
on the exact same plastic, on the exact same jig, like the
Am I
physical
not
same one.
family enough?
You
I
can
can't
you
come
can
up.
you can definitely be. So when he's talking about working hard for the angler, I guess I just wanted to bring that up. Like this is the plastic. My favorite part about these, obviously, I love that they are uber stretchy. They're super simple, like Ethan said. But my actual favorite thing, and this is where like my nerdiness comes in, they don't get waterlogged like very easily at all. It takes, I mean, I'm months for mine to get waterlogged. This the same single plastic, and that's actually one of my favorite things because like a lot of other, like not a lot. There's really not a lot. Some of the other super stretchy types of plastics that are out there, they tend to get waterlogged as they get stretched out and used, and these really don't, which is huge for me. So
It's probably something to do with the salt content. If I was a betting man,
$100%.
I don't use salt in mine because I like the natural buoyancy. But some of the other items that are the same type of material use a
Yep.
lot of salt. And there's obviously pros and cons, but
Yep.
I prefer not to because I don't think that the salt would necessarily help anything with these. I don't think it would help the action. I don't think it would make anything better. I would rather have it be buoyant. So that's cool though. I mean, I never really heard anyone talk about that before. So yeah, it's interesting.
Dude, that's actually been the big like probably the first thing I noticed after fishing it in the river as many times as I do. Because in the river I don't tie and untie as much. I don't switch out as many times. Like once I kind of get dialed in the pattern, it's usually good for a little bit longer than it is when you're on big water. And so if once I get dialed in, I'm running the same plastic the rest of the day. But I wanted
Awesome.
to call out. I brought this one specifically because it is not June bug. Um, but this is Dakota Sunrise. It is my favorite color, and it's obviously because I have caught a heck ton of gigantic smallmouth on it, but everything else in the world too. So you do have a purple out there waiting for you to be
Yeah,
grabbed.
that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
We also had I'm like way behind. This is insanity.
I don't know how
Big
to
John,
look at the chats. How do I look at the chats? This is all
Chaz,
new.
You gotta walk. Yeah, hook him up.
Yeah, yeah.
Just open it in a separate window. So Big John asked a question: how many tackle boxes are too many for a bank fisherman? He says, I got a Plano Guide Series satchel tackle box, and it holds a lot, but I can't seem to stop buying tackle. Another feeling. So now it's piling up. Now, is the satchel, Big John? You'll have to confirm for me when you can. Is the satchel? Is that the one that like I'm actually gonna look it up. I can't remember if that's the big like that one has convertible backpack straps, or that's just like the big, huge, like it's like a side. They should name it a sidecar. I think it's like the giant one. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Plano. I almost typed in sidecar
Yeah, I was looking
satchel.
at it. I feel like I'm not seeing all of them, but hey, I will help answer that question too. I honestly don't think there's necessarily a rule for how much tackle you bring. Some people like to bring a ton of gear,
Jeff.
and others are like me and they bring a fanny pack. But
I was the fanny pack's gonna come up again later.
and I'm big on just bringing limited gear. It's like bring like a handful of things and just
Yes.
make it work. But
Yep. I'm like naturally like that, but I have just hanging out with Jeff. Like it's an osmosis issue. I've picked up like some of his problem. Um I also really think it depends on how you organize your tackle, to be perfectly honest. Like if you feel like you're gonna bring everything you have, then you're gonna bring everything you have. But I'm organized in a way that's more like I have 2 or 3 boxes that I know I'm gonna keep empty and then fill them up from like my bulk of my gear for like that day. And I'm gonna fish whatever those 3 boxes are. Honestly, though, as a bank fisherman, I actually have a pretty big backpack. I use like the Ego backpack or whatever. Um, and so I only bring one tackle box, one terminal tackle box, and then I bring a handful of plastics, maybe 2 handfuls of plastics, like one, bag of plastic, like bag of plastics. And that's all that I when I'm bank fishing, I don't want to bring any more than that. I do not want it to be a hassle. I want it to be easy. I want to be comfortable. I don't want to get paralysis by like too much gear. So I tend to bring one just one box of like hard baits, some soft plastics, and then one terminal box. And the only reason I bring the terminal box is so I don't have to unpack it. It's just one that has like my jigs, my hooks, and if I want like an underspin or something, I have that. So that's my like bank fishing. Like I'm gonna be pounding on the bank. And then that also leaves room for lunch, which is a huge deal for me because if I get hangry, I'm out of there.
fanny pack for
Um,
life.
yeah. And then I know I missed a couple. So Ramon Outdoors, one of the all-time greats. Thank you, sir. $5 super chat. I'm never gonna get to this show. He says, gonna second Paul on this one. Mule is the all caps again best tackle company anywhere. I recommend it to everyone I meet and give them out all of the time. Like I said, Ramon Outdoors, absolute legend.
Hey, shout out to everyone in the chat that's saying hello. I've just now figured out how to access the chat, so sorry I'm catching up, but I'm here.
Yep. And then we've
So
got
I'm like
another.
halfway asleep. Sorry.
You're good. We got Tom Allred, not Alfred, like Jeff likes to say. Another $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. Says the Donkey Tail Junior keeps me going when the bass won't bite, and it is a crappie slayer. And I have seen the video evidence to absolutely like 100% confirm that. I can't, and I'm with some of these folks like Jeff and I and you have talked about it before. Like it like totally changed, and we brought it up on our a million shows, but the Donkey Tail for me, but the Donkey Tail and the Donkey Tail Junior have like totally changed the way I fish. Like when I'm having a rough day, that is absolutely the direction that I go. Like that is what I do when I'm like, I just need a confidence boost. I just need to catch something, and I feel like it's a cheat code. I tie it on. I'm like, I know I'm gonna catch fish.
Well, I certainly appreciate all the kind words. I mean, certainly it's taken a lot of thought and effort, and it's really just super nice to see people catching fish on them. And obviously, selfishly, I enjoy fishing them too because I have had a lot of success with it. But you know, certainly always open to feedback too, so people don't ever feel like you can't reach out with feedback and that sort of thing, because that's how it'll continue to improve over time. Yeah, I'm really really pleased with the Donkey Tail Junior and Donkey Tail, just like giving people the ability to catch fish quickly. I mean, when you're having a rough day and just having something in the bag that you know you can kind of turn your day around with, I mean that's everything to me. So
And I
anyways,
still and I still have like I think this is my first pack. but
takes a while.
I
I mean,
but I have like 5 more.
that's important to me too. It's like just value. I mean, there's some other bait companies out there that, it's like $15 for this, $12 for that. And
Mhm.
not to say that I don't understand it. I mean, there's certain things that it just costs that much to make, and I understand it. But it's important to me to be approachable, because I know that not everyone can afford to spend 12, 15, $25 on one lure or one pack of lures. And it's sometimes those are great, baits, but some people can't even afford it. So why would I want to do that? So Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear you're doing well with them, but I don't have to talk about meals the whole time. I mean, I love talking about it, but I
Well,
kind of always feel
we got some good stuff for you. And actually, I want to touch back on that in a second. I'm gonna totally forget, but I really want to. So I do want to say the show sponsored by Monster Bass are the fine folks. We want to say thank you so much. So I want to get that out of the way. I also wanted to say that the Ned Rig Nerd decals made it into the mail. I felt like I said all this stuff 2 days ago, and it's because I did. We had our members only live on Tuesday, and we talked about Chaws. You got yours? Heck yeah. So we do the Ned Rig Nerd decals are in the mail. So if you haven't gotten them, they should be there very soon. We also talked a heck ton about the next t-shirt. So the Ned Rig Nerd t-shirt spurred the whole thing. I have another t-shirt drawn. I actually have 2 t-shirt ideas, one that I could easily draw. So I just have to turn those like actual hand drawings into cartoons and then get them digital so I can put them on a shirt. And we're going to do another run for the shirt. Now, I want to call it again. We're going to do the same thing we did last time, like we said we would do. If you are in the Snorlax crew, you are going to be, at the time when the shirt comes out, you are actually going to get the shirt for free. Period. The end. If you're a Snorlax crew member, you're getting the shirt for free. We want to have something special for our members. It's something that we feel like we can do. And we also let you guys all input your choices. So we talked through on the members only live. I'm not going to say what it was. I'm not going to say which design won, but we talked about the designs. We showed them off. And we allowed all the nerds during the members only live to pick and choose which one they would like to see. So you can do that if you are also in the Snorlax crew. We also are going to be on Bass Geeks show Monday the 28th, so keep an eye out for that. The dude is amazing, and I can't wait to get back on the show. It's been way too long. And we also scheduled our next members only live, which is going to be March 15th. So that is, and we do have a new member. We have Jesse Hawk. Is it Hawk or Hotch? I'm going to go with Hotch.
hey Jesse, hey Jesse.
Is it Hotch though? And I see him everywhere. I really should know this, so I feel bad.
That
But
would be Hawk. It's not Hotch.
I know. All right, let me know. Let me know.
Find
I'm gonna confidently guess Hotch. I'm actually pretty lucky. Jeff's usually the one slaying last names, so we'll see what
That'd
happens.
be Hawk. It's
I
not.
know, but he has joined the Snorlax crew, so welcome to the show. We love having you here, and we love seeing people who are like regulars join the crew. It's just we're growing the community, and we love to see that. And then Army Outdoors 88N coming with a $10 super chat, who was on the members only live, like physically on, saw his face. We got him on again. Thank you for the $10 super chat.
We
my
were
good
both
friend.
wrong, dude. It's Hoke.
Oh, what a joke. I should have known that. Oh, man. Well, you know what?
Also
Jesse, my bad, bro. But thanks for joining the crew, and I'll get it right next time. But Army Outdoors says, congrats on being a dad. All caps again, Ethan. People are loving the all caps today. Says great live, dudes, which we were glad to have you a part of. And they says, so what is your first bait you are throwing for your first cast of 2022? I might finally get out on Sunday here in Kentucky with near 60 degrees. I'm jealous of you. And that is an awesome question, actually. Ethan, do you know what yours is going to be?
Mine's gonna be something that'll launch this spring, and you'll see it hopefully sooner rather than later. But I'm kind of working on a lot of things. But yeah, it will be on a mule jig, and it will be launched this spring.
I love it. That's a really good answer. Mine actually, it changes like every couple weeks. Like every couple weeks, I'll be like opening something new, and I'm like, this is gonna be the first thing that I try, or then I'm like, it's gonna be that, or it's gonna be that. Right now, I think it's actually gonna be the bait. I don't know if you guys saw the video, but the Slick Bait Co. This bait right here, I just posted a picture of it on my Instagram. It's an amazing, heckin' cool bait. Now, what's crazy about this is right now on screen, you guys are seeing like a purple and a brown. If I backlight this, just hold on to your lunch. Watch this.
Well, it's not lunchtime.
If I backlight this, you are gonna see. Oh, it's not working very well because I have two. It's actually all I can see is blue and green pumpkin. When light hits this, it like totally looks like a different color. It is one of the coolest things I've ever seen, and I am really loving these like hybrid profile baits that are like half flipping bait, half power worm. So I'll be Carolina rigging this, and right now that's my answer for right now.
Even bait, though, really, not a jerk bait.
Nope, I know, I do. I know. I don't care.
You're gonna throw that in 40-degree water.
Yeah, I will. The power, yeah, I will. It can't fail.
What will be the first bait that you catch a fish on, though? I'm not
A
saying that
lipless. It'll be a
it
lipless.
looks fantastic, and I
Yeah,
think you'll catch plenty of fish on it. But in 20-degree water, you ain't catching fish on that. You're gonna catch it on jerkbait.
I know. And you know what? So it's funny too. The
Oh no.
JB crawl. See, I kill it every wrong. It's either going to be a jerkbait or a lipless. I think we all acknowledge that that's what I'm going to catch my first fish on, especially up here in Michigan. But you know what? Sometimes you just can't help yourself, and so I just throw
For
hope.
sure.
Right? I'm just going to throw hope.
I always have something rigged up that I'm probably not going to catch fish on. But
The other thing too that really that I have to like mentally think about is like if I throw something on a bait caster as my first thing, I will backlash, and then I'll be like that. I'll have to deal with that. So it's going to probably be something on spinning gear.
honestly, yeah, if we were asking the question for bass fishing, I'm going to have a Ned rig and a jerkbait tied on because those are the tried and true for sub 40-degree weather or sub 40-degree water temps.
100%.
That's a finesse TRD on a Ned rig, or honestly, a donkey tail worked really, really well for me in the cold weather last year. Surprisingly, I didn't expect it to be as good in the cold water. But Ned rig and jerkbait are kind of staples when you're talking sub 40. That's the thing is like we are both crazy about fishing. Like we're gonna be fishing when it's sub 40 water. Like
You know how many videos? How many videos start with just like chiseling away pieces of ice out of a kayak to be like, I've got to get out of here. Yeah,
man,
that's a problem.
I'm so excited. It's like we had that yesterday was like unseasonably
45
warm,
degree.
Today we're getting snow and it's cold again. It's like, man, the lake that I live by was melted around the edges. I'm like, there's an end in sight, baby. I'm gonna get that kayak or canoe out soon. And then it's like today, I'm like, no, I'm not.
And it's crazy because right when you hit that weird period of time, and if you, I don't think you're not a big hunter, are you? Just you spend all your time fishing, right?
Pretty much spend all my time fishing. I think hunting's something I would take up when the time is right. I got into it in like high school. Shot a turkey. I shot a pheasant and quail and all that, but I just never like caught the bug. I really caught the bug for fishing. So
yeah. I'm in the same boat, but it's just like there's a bigger bug, and that's the fishing bug. But I have like when turkey season rolls around, like I will not fish.
Bugs. You're a man of two bugs.
I'm a man of multiple bugs. I have many issues that all need to be like chemically resolved because turkey season, I can't get over turkey season. I seriously cannot. It's an issue. Every time I see a turkey, I like my pulse like raises. I just get so excited. I don't know. So that weird time, like in the beginning of winter, like where you can't really fish because it's so unbelievably cold and it's always rainy in Michigan. But like hunting season's over and like there's only like 2 days you can duck hunt like by Christmas, and it's really just an awful time to. There's a nice turkey from Chaw's, but there's like you can't. It's like an awful time to be fishing, and but you're not anywhere near. You're still 6 weeks away from ice. That creates like this insane amount of like anticipation for ice season. I have a hard time letting that go because we wait so long and you get so excited for it. Then ice season comes and you freeze your, nuts off for forever and catch nothing for 2 weeks. And then you finally hit ice season. You kind of hit your stride.
Oh my God, yes.
And then it rains and then you're like, like, is it gone yet? And then you're like, am I excited for open water? Or do what I really want is I want 4 weeks of moderate weather with ice. That's what I really want because I want to just knock them dead onto the ice.
I want to have the ability to fish for 2 weeks straight and not have to work during ice fishing season, but that's not reality. I mean,
no,
dude, I can so relate to what you're saying. Is like the first couple of weeks of ice fishing, it's like you're kind of getting your bearings, you're trying to figure it out. Now, when I say first couple of weeks, I'm talking about one trip a week, like because that's
100%,
life.
100%.
That's life now. So your first trip is like it's that one Saturday you get for 4 hours or whatever, and it's like I'm still relearning how to do this. And the fish are also not set up right. They're not ready. God. They're not eating right. They're just weird.
And the marks you see are not feeding fish. That's like the worst thing is you'll see a mark, but you already in your brain you start targeting it, but you are like 5 seconds later, you're like, I know this fish is not.
Well, for me, it's 10 minutes later after having it come up and sniff my jig 17 different times. And I'm like, I just spent 2 hours trying to tempt 3 different fish. And I didn't get one of them to bite, and now I'm frustrated. But no, ice fishing is like it goes by so quick, and just like right now, I'm feeling like really good about everything. But I didn't have the chance to fish last weekend, and I don't know. I might get the chance to fish on Sunday, but the reality is there's some of these lakes are going to be questionable now.
I'm not going out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to drive up to the northern side of town, and by the time I'm up there, I've already cut my fishing trip in half
2
because I
hours.
go 45 minutes, and it's like it's tough. But that's why I'm actually so excited for open water, is because generally speaking, once the water temp gets past 45, I mean it's game on, baby, and I can make a 2 hour trip work.
Yeah.
So it'll be
I
all right.
Ice fishing is very we should do a whole okay, I'm gonna cut ice fishing off. I would love to keep going, but I'm gonna cut us off before I
That's
ask my last ice fishing. I love ice fishing. Before I ask my last ice fishing question, I have to recognize we have a new Burly Bunch Elite member, Ruben. Welcome, sir. We appreciate you. Welcome to
Ruben.
the the club. I want to say clan or club. The welcome to the Nedrig Nerds. How about that? I love it. Okay, my last ice fishing question. Um, how did the mule plastics work under the water? I have only fished one type of them, and I'm saving what I did for later. But I want to know, have you drowned them, and how did it work for you?
So for me personally, like I said, I honestly haven't got to fish a ton. So when I have fished, I have done half of a horsefly on the back of just like a typical tungsten jig, and that's done well for perch, and I think it's got potential for crappie. The reality is, I got to the point where I wanted to downsize towards the last couple trips, and so I've been using just small random soft plastics that are
Yep.
not Newell. And I'm always very transparent about that. Like as much as I wish that Mule was the end all be all, it's not always. And for me, just given the fact that I don't have a ton of time or confidence in ice fishing, I have wanted to downsize, use something a little smaller, and I've had some success doing that. That being said, I have talked to several people and even seen some videos. My friend Fitz Yakin, he's up in the Northeast in New York, and he does a lot of videos. And he's used both the Donkey Tail Junior and the Horsefly for the last Donkey Tail Junior last season, and then the Horsefly this season. And he's caught some freaking monster perch. So
Yeah.
there's nothing, but there's no doubt in my mind they work. I think you kind of have to be around the right fish because it's
Mm,
a larger profile, right? I mean, for most ice plastics are not over 1 inch. They're usually less than an inch. So
for
to catch
perch.
fish on something like this is, I mean, you're gonna want to be around bigger fish. And if you
Yeah.
guys know me, I tend to be around some smaller ones. I'm kicking myself for my last trip because I was out there and catching some big slab crappie, and I should have rigged one up because honestly, it would have worked wonders. But I just
But you were like so jacked up about getting bit. You were like just staying in the zone.
my hands were cold, dude. You think the last thing I want to do is re-rig when I'm like, no, it's that is what's so frustrating about ice fishing. Okay, we could go on for an hour talking about the frustrations of ice fishing. The reality is, when you're out there and it's like, hey, the wind's blowing and it's also 22 degrees, and I just got my fingers wet. What do I want to do? Take off my gloves to re-rig? No, I want to put
On
them like in my
on
pants in my car
size
to warm up.
on 2 pound test, tying into what is essentially the most infinitesimally small eye that you have to open up because there's no way the paint is closed over it. Like it's the most miserable thing.
Yeah, the reality is, I wish that I would have had a chance to fish all this stuff more. I really haven't got that many trips in the grand scheme of things. And that's what the reason I put out 3 ice fishing videos this winter. So I
Hmm.
mean, if that tells you, I haven't been out a ton. While I'm on that topic, I am going to take just 5 seconds. Um, there's been a handful of comments and stuff like that, or questions. It's like, Ethan, why aren't you putting out gear? When are you going to or sorry, why aren't you putting out videos? When are you going to put out more videos? I'm just like, it's like I want to just, while I have a chance to tell people, I am going to continue to put out videos. I love doing this. This is absolutely my passion, and there will be more to come. But what's been really, I'm a new dad, and he's 6 months old, and it's also winter, and the days are short, and I've got a full time job, and I just want to make it clear that it's like videos are going nowhere. I just don't necessarily always have the time, and it's not always going to be my number one priority. Like if it was my number one priority, then then I would want you to question me because it never will be. My number one priority will be my faith and then my family. So that being said, I'll shut up now and I'll let Paul get back to his schedule.
You're so much better than Jeff already. Jeff would never have said that sentence in the entirety of his career as a podcast co-host. But no, the part about me, the part about getting back to my schedule. I totally feel you. There have been times, especially being a new dad, where I'm like, if Jeff wasn't doing this as well, I totally would have either taken a break or quit or whatever, because um yeah, I would have just been like totally sapped. And it's also like it's almost like it works both ways with two of us, because I don't want to not hold up my end because I feel like I'm letting somebody else down, which is a great motivator, right? Where I'm like, where normally you could be like, I need to sleep. I'm a human. I deserve a night of sleep. But then you're like, well, I told Jeff I was gonna do the video. It's due tomorrow. F it. I'll just do it. And then you hop in and you knock it out, and then you go to bed, and you're just sleep deprived. Not a big deal. But like without that extra motivation, like I would totally have been like, this is such no. I'm gonna pack up my orders if I'm mule fishing. I'm gonna pack these orders out tonight, right? I'm gonna do my other job, and then well, then the other flip side of it though is like right now, like if Jeff were gone, he would have had to work 3 times as hard this week. He's got a new job. He's got a ton of stuff going on. He's got 2 kids.
Yeah, I
But I
just
can pick
think
up the slack,
sometimes.
right? I can pick up the slack and be like, yeah, I'll do 2 videos this week. Not a big deal.
Well, the sometimes is, and that's why I love talking about it when I have the opportunity like this. Is sometimes it's easy for some folks to forget that we have full-time jobs too, and
Or
because
2 of them in your case.
yeah, it's this weird thing with social media because there's a lot of people out there with social. Well, I shouldn't say a lot. There's a handful of people out there with social media that are fortunate enough to do it for a living, and that is cool. That's wonderful. Um, Props to those people because they've worked their tail off to get there. But sometimes I think there's folks that see that and then they assume that others are also doing that, and that's not necessarily the case. So I want to draw a light to that because it's not it's not always all roses. And I think it's important that people talk about that because social media a lot of times can paint certain pictures, and I think that's another topic for another day. But I like to
Oh,
be
that's a whole
very
show.
very
Yeah.
authentic and real. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
that's a whole show, 100%. And I think I will say that's one great thing about having this like cool community, and like being like almost like relentlessly like in touch with people. Like I kind of feel bad. I'm like, man, these people like want to talk to me all the time, and I love it. And like I feel like I would love to I would love to do more, and I would love to like honestly, when I think about what I could do if it was full time, I have like a running list. It's actually right here. It's not in my head, but I have a running list of like the different things that I would do if I could do this full time. And I'm always thinking like, well, man, if I just did those things and was like relentless in the way that I am now with like my maybe 10 hours a week, if I could turn that into like 50 hours, so like what could I really like accomplish? Because I feel like it's super fun, but I'm like, oh man, that list is looking pretty juicy. Like my editing I could go through the roof. Like I could be so much better, but also faster, which means I could do like twice as many videos, like all on my own. And
at the
like,
end of the day, man, you're doing everything right and you're
oh
working
yeah,
your tail off. And if those things are meant to be, then they'll get there in time. But
next week.
you're also not so selfish to just leave your family high and dry. And
Oh,
I respect the hell out of you for that.
Oh,
So
I love hanging out with my kids.
taking
Yeah,
care of them and making money for them, putting food on the table, right? It's like there's
they
a
do
value.
like to eat. They do like to eat. It is hilarious. Both my kids are like in a growth spurt right now. I hate to go back to the dad thing again, but like both my kids are just like monsters. Like my daughter when she wants. Yeah, no, they didn't. I have an eating. I could like, yeah, it's they're
Oh,
very
man.
much like me. My daughter just literally screams and claps. Her whole like verbal, her basis for like verbally like speaking is just gonna be more food, please. Like it's
Yeah.
priceless watching her just like slap the table as you scramble to get like
I'm
a
scared for like
fifth
12
bag
years from
of whatever. Oh yeah,
now.
it'll be fully mature. Like, hello, I would really appreciate 10 times what you've given me so far.
I'm gonna start having to put away a lot of money right now for just the food budget in like 10, 12 years because I know how I ate when I was like 14 to 28, which I'm 28 right now. Like, I still eat ridiculous.
14 years of my life.
For the last 14 years of my life, I've eaten ridiculous quantities, but especially that like 12 to 16 window.
Oh yeah.
I like very much remember eating like 15, 16 slices of pizza at times. It's like,
Yeah.
how is that physically possible? The
I used
fact
to
that I've
take
got a little monster that's going to morph into that is terrifying. I got to keep making money. I
bro,
mean,
I mean, I hate to say it, but like $5 hot and ready's like saved lives. I used to take the whole hot and ready and just take like a quarter bottle of hot sauce, go all the way over it, and I would just roll it up like a sleeping bag and I would eat it like by myself, like a stromboli. Yeah.
quarter. See, I tell you what, Charles can get the hot and ready. I'll get maybe something a little different, but
You
you can
can
have
get the
because he
what's
doesn't
the
know any better.
upgrade? What's the upgrade? The 3 meat treat. That name of that has always killed me
I'll
because
take
it's
that.
like
I'll take
sausage, pepperoni, and ham or something like that. There you
that.
go.
We could do a whole
Upgrade.
podcast on pizza. Get back to
Really?
fish. All right, all right.
Oh man. All right, so I do have more of the show. We never got to do the Q of the D, and I think this one's actually pretty funny. So my question of the day that we totally have glossed over, and we're hitting at what 8:40 Eastern. My question for you, Ethan, is it, and also chat, is Valentine's Day real? Is that a real holiday or event or
I'll let,
what is? Is it a
I'll let
holiday?
Charles go first if he wants to.
Charles, what are your thoughts on is Valentine's Day real?
Maybe way back in the day, but not now. It's all corporate. Like
It's
some
like a
shit.
Hallmark holiday, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Ethan, do you have an opinion?
I believe that if it was only guys talking, it would be not a real thing and it was created to sell more cards, which is kind of the history of it. However, I believe that if you have that opinion amongst your greater half, and you best start thinking a different way because it's totally real on the flip side. And
That's
so
why I worded it that way. I think
yeah,
Ethan gets it.
it is real. It is real, just not always in our eyes. And I can tell you that getting a vase full of roses for my wife made her day and her week that much better. And that is like that. It makes it real enough for me. So made me happy.
It's a very, very political answer. If I would say that I think, and these are my words, which are horrific, but I think that Valentine's Day is BS. But I imagine though, right after saying that, that I'm like, what if there was no Valentine's Day? Like, why can't you just have, especially as a parent now, where like with 2 kids and like 2 full-time jobs and like life is miserable sometimes with not having daycare and all the crap we got to deal with like these days. No free time, doing everything late at night, like I'm like, what? You can't take one day to like go get dinner or watch a movie or like Netflix and chill? Like you can't like what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with any of those things. They all sound awesome. I like all the things, but I don't but I agree. Like I don't subscribe to the idea that I have to go get a pink card and that's like
Yeah.
850, plus tax and then all that other crap. So I will say yes and yes to both. I think you can say yes to both sides.
Well, I also think it's important to just go out of your way from time to time and just do something special. It doesn't have to
Right?
be Valentine's Day.
But then well, no, I understand like randomly, but that's my point. It's like, what's so wrong with being like, you know what? One day, hey, we're just gonna go get like we're gonna get a fancy dinner. Or like, I also got flowers, and I was like, you know what? I ordered them with my son. He had like a ball. The lady on the phone like wanted to steal them from me because he was like wanted to get like both all of our favorite colors in the bouquet, and like I mean, it was awesome. So
Yeah, I propose that the entire Burly fishing audience, as well as myself and everyone else watching and Chaz, next year we all do it on the 7th, 1 week before everyone
yes,
else.
that's such a good idea.
And it's like we surprise them all the ladies, the lucky ladies out there. We surprise them on the 7th and we say
Yeah.
happy, and we come up with our own term. And it's our new thing. And then we sell stuff the following year. No, but for real, like, let's beat the crowd. We're gonna pay less, and we're gonna be even sweeter.
I
So
love that so much,
everyone's
dude.
gonna join me on this.
I love it. But then you know what's gonna happen? Day is gonna roll around, and then you're not gonna buy anything. 'Cause you're like, well, we just did it last week, and they're gonna be like, what the? Are you joking me? Like you don't love me?
Probably.
Okay. Okay. Nice. So you can get away with it. I can't get away. I won't get away. I won't get out scot free. There's no way. I will definitely mess it up. Rockablades, member for 8 months. Gosh dang. And Rockablades hooked us up with BFO baits. So I there's a giant centipede bait. I don't know if you saw it on my page. It is one of the coolest stick baits that I've seen in a long time. So BFO Baits makes it, and it comes in a really cool color called Mardi Gras. Rocket Blades hooked us up with those. Thank you, my friend. Um, he says, "Grats on the dad hood. What is your best recommendation, or what is your best recommended reel for the Dobbins ultralight rod? It's got to be under $100." And I'm assuming he says over 50. Also, what is your recommended braided line for use with ultra light fishing?
Boom. I love this question. Thank you. I'm so excited to talk about something, other than love or wheel fishing or all of the above. This is cool. So as far as reels go, my go-to answer every time I get questions like this is I stick with brands that I trust, and for me that's Daiwa and Shimano predominantly, just because I've had such a good track record with them, and I go with a size 1000. So quite honestly, I haven't had issues with the cheapest all the way up to the most expensive. Generally speaking, when it comes to a spinning reel, you are going to get higher quality components, probably a smoother drag the more you spend, but it doesn't mean that the $40 or $50 reel isn't going to do a good job for you. I mean, I've got reels that are 40, 50 bucks that last me years. Their drag they might jolt a little bit more, right? Which gives the fish a little bit more leverage from time to time to pop free. But at the same time, it's like you don't necessarily, and if you're fishing saltwater, you probably want to spend a little bit more because of the higher quality components, because they're going to be less prone to like getting all sorts of gunked up and basically exploding at some point. So anyways, long answer, but I would say for that price range, I would probably look at like the Daiwa Legalis or maybe like a Shimano Sedona. If you want to spend $100, the Daiwa Fuego LT 1000, I'm told, is really bomb. I have not got
this
that
close to buying one.
Yeah, I've been this close, but it's never in stock. So, but yeah, any of the Daiwa line or Shimano line, size 1000. Yeah, I've had no issues with any of them. And then as far as the braid question, so I'm told from a lot of people I trust very much that the braid that I'm going to be testing this year is going to be the way to go, and that's the Daiwa J braid.
Oh,
The 8X8 or whatever the heck it is.
yep.
It's the 8-strand one.
Yep.
And get the 6-pound. There's a lot of people get like 10-pound braid for ultralight. I just think it's probably overkill, and I think that the lower diameter you can go, the better for casting distance. So I love 10-pound braid for bass fishing, but I don't see any need for it for ultralight fishing, because you just at a certain point you're overpowering your rod. Yeah, I've also had luck with the Fireline Ultra 8 carrier. It's been fine, but it doesn't cast super far, so I'm hopeful that the J braid has a little bit better casting distance. If you can't tell, I could talk about ultralight fishing. Very excited to do that all day long, but now I better shut up.
No, you're perfect. Actually, he was actually asking, he wanted to know if a reel for over 100 and another one for, oh, wait, did I get that right? Both one under $100 and one for under 50. That's
One for under
actually
50, Daiwa Revros LT 1000. Get that one. One for under 100, either the Legalis, which I have yet to fish, but I got it and it feels wonderful and it's higher up than the Revros, so I feel like it'll be fine. Or you can go with the Shimano Sedona. That one's pretty dope too.
the Sedona. I think you pretty much is kind of like at that price point. I think a lot of people end up in that camp. I mean, like a ton. Like even just watching videos, I'm at a point now where I recognize them 1,000 miles away.
Yeah. The thing is, like with ultralight, it's like spinning reels in general, is there's not a huge difference at the
No.
grand scheme of things. And that's where sometimes, so like I've done a lot of ultralight rod impressions / review type videos, and that's something that a lot of people really like on my channel. It's kind of become a thing for me. And I'm going to continue to do them. But I've actually gotten a lot of questions. Ethan, would you do this for ultralight reels? And part of the reason I don't feel super comfortable doing so is because I don't necessarily feel qualified to be comparing them to a large degree, because I'm not an engineer. I'm not a real engineer, and I don't necessarily always understand the major differences. What I do know is that a spinning reel is a spinning reel to an extent, and you kind of need to go. I mean, ultimately, there's a lot more difference between brands than there is models, and then
Sure.
like I said, at the end of the day, it's really components getting higher level, like cheapest plastic all the way up to like all this graphite and all sorts of things that cost a lot of money. And the reason it costs a lot of money is because it's going to make that reel lighter, it's going to make that reel smoother, and it's going to make that reel last longer. So yes, spending more money is great if you're in it for a long investment and you plan to fish a ton. That's why I have reels of all, all budgets. But the ones that I expect a long life out of are the ones that are over $100.
$100.
Yeah.
I totally agree, and I think I put spinning reels in a different category than I put bait casting reels when it comes to making that decision. Like the difference between like $100 and $150, or like maybe a $75 and $100 spinning reel, I kind of would be like negligible in most cases unless there was one specific component. I'm like, they're gonna be absolutely in the same neighborhood versus like $150 and $175 bait caster. I'm like, okay, these actually could be significantly different. Because I feel like
Casters are wildly a different story. 100%
totally
agree.
different. But I will say one of the biggest things I wanted to test was the Zada spinning rig. And I ran it as my I think I got the size 1500 for like on my medium, which is what I do all my open water smallmouth fishing on. And I want, because it has an aluminum frame, and that's actually the only aluminum frame spinning setup that I've ever used. And I really want to know if there's a difference between that and a graphite. And I'll be honest, maybe it's just because I'm not like sensitive enough to it, but I fished a ton of fish, and I caught a couple of 4+ pound smallmouth on it, and I was never like, thank God I had that one and not my other one.
Yeah, I've fished a lot of spinning reels. I've made a lot of casts. I've caught a lot of fish on spinning reels. And I'm not saying that it doesn't matter. It does matter. But that's why I said get a trustworthy brand that you like and know, and spend at your, highest budget or whatever based on how much you think you're going to be fishing. If you're going to take 5 trips this year, don't spend more than $50. If you're going to take 50 trips this year, you might justify it, so on and so forth. So I just think that it's just, that's why, I mean, again, that's why I haven't personally done videos on it. I'm a big believer in, when it comes to YouTube and social media, responsible thing to do is talk about what you know. And
Oh,
I have certainly been an idiot before and talked about things I don't know, and I always regret it. So
every single time, knowing your lane is hands down. Like when people ask, like, what should I do? Like, what, give me tips or tricks for like YouTube, and I'm like, just don't. If you don't know about it, be very excited to say, oh, I have no idea. I'm the dumbest person in the room. Totally cool.
some folks have asked me to do like fly fishing, like how to's and stuff. I'm like, but bro, I suck at fly fishing. Like, no, if I was to do fly fishing content, it would be like,
Mhm.
I'm learning how to fly fish, or like I'm becoming a better fly fish. Like I would be real. Like, and anyways, this is obviously a hot button for me. It's like I just see a lot of stuff on YouTube, and I see a lot of. I don't actually watch most of it, but I see a lot of people putting out stuff that it's just like, all right, so you're going to talk about what accessories you need for this, and you've never fished it before. Gotcha. Like, I don't know. It just drives me bonkers.
It's actually, and it's sometimes it's hard to get away from. You feel like you are being, like you're somehow downgraded by like not knowing about something. Like when people ask me like about fishing spoons, or I don't know, some like like technique that I'm like totally not familiar with. I've become very comfortable, and I'm almost happy. It's like a cop out to just be like, I honestly have no idea. I've never used it before. I'll tell you what I know. I will tell you what I know, but it might be like one thing, and that's it. Like and I'm very happy saying like I have absolutely no idea and just rolling with it. And that's been my crutch, like just being very comfortable saying, "Oh, I just have no idea." Like here's somebody who I know is very smart. Ask them.
Help me
Uh,
out, dude, because I don't know what I'm doing.
we're all good. All
You're
right.
the man.
We did get a super chat from the. Okay, I got to read this one. He says the underscore only DeBurly hype man, aka outdoorsman. Cheers, brother. He says, no wonder what your other half says always brings something. Follow me for more tips to have a 20-year marriage in September 22. I love it. And then what does he say? Name, origin, brand/lures? Name, origin, brand/lures. Am I supposed to know what that means? Does anybody else? Am I missing that?
Do
Burly,
you derped this.
Is this like I probably derped the heck out of this, but you might have to
Let me read
re-ask
it.
me. I have absolutely no idea whatsoever.
Name
Um,
origin brand /source.
name origin, like where the name came from mule fishing? Is that what he's asking about?
Oh, yeah, that kind of makes sense. I feel like a lot of people that's probably a pretty typical question, actually.
I actually ask it every time, but I already asked it on the old one. So I'll let you do it
Try
again.
not to go super long-winded. I'm really good about being long-winded. Mule fishing. So the reason I named it mule fishing is because I was looking for something that kind of like meant something to me, and also I wanted something kind of short and just to the point. The reason I went with mule is because my grandpa, who's actually like the silhouette on the logo, my grandpa like loves mules and horses, predominantly mules. And so I was like, oh, this is actually a super cool name for this, because like my goal is to make a really hardworking fishing supply company. And mules are known like as an animal to be like a super hardworking animal. So that's kind of why I went with it. And then, the logo looks really cool and it makes me super happy every time I see it, because that's my grandpa. I just called him this week and he's doing well. He lives down in Kansas, where I'm from originally, and that's Mule.
That's freaking dude, I love that so much. It makes me like every time I look at it, I think of that story, like hearing it for the first time when you're on the podcast the first time. I absolutely love that.
I mean, there's no sense in coming up with a company if you don't. I mean, you gotta put a little thought into it, make it special to you.
That actually, Burly, thanks for bringing it up, because that actually is my favorite question to ask. When we have people on that have like some sort of company or whatever, I have to ask about the logo and also the name, because that's just like that is my favorite question to ask. One thing I did have a show. We have hit almost none of it, maybe 2 things on it, which is great actually. But I want to say on our one of our prior shows, like the New Year show, we did like predictions for what we think is going to come true in 2022. So like in the industry, we were like, here's some things that Jeff and I think like can happen, will happen, might happen, won't happen, whatever. We talked about like, for example, like making your own baits is going to be something that grows in fishing, like people going home and like cooking up their own plastics and stuff like that, or like painting their own crankbaits or whatever. It's something that I still actually feel really passionately about, is going to grow. One of the things we talked about, and Jeff and I kind of got into a little argument over this, was BFS. Is BFS going to be something that gets bigger, or are people going to look at it and be like, this actually didn't work out the way that I thought it would work out, and I spent a bunch of money on it. I'm out.
Both.
That is the best answer, because like after kind of arguing about it with Jeff, I was like 100%. Like there's no way it like, and chat totally proved me wrong, because chat was like, yes, I'm pumped, I'm about it, and I'm like, that's all I needed to know, like right there. Like our little group of fishing nerds is like totally in. And I'm not saying that you're gonna get duped. Like it is fun, and that was the conversation we had. It's like, it's fun, but like after doing it for like 6 months, I was like, man, like I find myself like 80% of the time being like, I really just, if I had my spinning rig, it would be more effective.
So
it's
yeah,
weird.
I mean, I'm really actually glad you brought this up, and this is another topic I could probably go on about for a long time.
We have plenty of time.
I think that some of the videos I put out there about BFS, predominantly the pros and cons video I did, kind of wraps up my thoughts. But I guess what I would say is that BFS, in my opinion, is a super niche thing, and it essentially is going to add value to anglers in a super niche. So if you're trout fishing or creek fishing or somewhere where there's a lot of low hanging stuff and you need to be super accurate, but you also need to be fishing really, really small stuff. So if you are fishing for trout with low hanging trees and you don't want to, and you want to be able to get it under there, skip it under there, it makes a lot of sense. But in most cases, open water, spinning reel can do everything the same, and it's far more cost efficient. It's also far more available. My comments right now are on the market today. Like 20 years from now, who knows? Maybe BFS will be far more advanced and readily available. But the reality is the entry-level BFS gear is not built to last. And I'm not going to dog on the stuff I have. I've even got one of the entry-level reels, and it's fine and it does the job. but it's not going to last me a long time under pressure. If I put a lot of pressure on that reel, it's going to explode. And so I think BFS is one of those things where a lot of people are going to get super interested into it, and they're going to have a lot of fun with it. I don't necessarily know that it's giving them a competitive advantage. So the people that it'll stick to, in my opinion, are the ones that just genuinely like throwing a bait caster more. And for that reason, it's here to stay, because there's a lot of people that do. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's totally cool. Like, if that's your style, that's your style. And I'm so behind that. But a lot of people, I think, are also going to expect it to be this big, earth-shattering thing because of like the things that are getting put out on the internet talking about how it's such a big deal. And then they're going to go buy the $100 reel or the $70 reel, and they're going to end up saying, I don't need this.
Yeah.
So I think, like I said, it's both. That's my prediction.
That's a good. That's actually kind of where we landed. It was like mine was like, my comment was it shouldn't be as big as it is because I don't feel like people are going to get what they want to get out of it. But the flip side of that is there's no choice. There's pent up demand there because it just is and sounds fun. It just is fun and sounds fun to do. Like to
Yeah, which is a
throw an
totally
ultralight.
cool. Like,
It's just
you have
cool,
to-
and so
yeah, that's
it's
okay.
gonna happen. Like it's going to happen. And I'm in the, and so I want to like make Jeff's point. Jeff's point was like everyone wants it. They're gonna get it. If everyone keeps wanting it, eventually someone's gonna make it for them. Like, and I think that's a perfect point because there is no getting around that. But
The world, we're in an age of, I mean, this is where we are. We all like to have things, and I am just as much to blame as anyone. I've got so much dang fishing gear. Practicality, probably don't need it. Like, is
probably
practicality,
100% don't need it.
practicality, is that a thing anymore? Probably not.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
otherwise, I wouldn't have friggin' 20 fishing poles.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I've got like, okay, here's the ones I really want to protect so they're inside. Like, come on.
I mean, it's
It's a
kind
joke.
of
It's a complete. It's a complete joke. I will say though, the discussion actually came from the fact that there are a whole bunch. Well, there are relatively more available. A nice spectrum of selection for you to go out if you wanted to buy a BFS reel. And you even alluded to it. You're like, you go spend $100, $120 on a BFS reel, no problem, tomorrow, and go get it. And it's good. My argument was, why in the good Lord's name can you not go get a $100 BFS rod?
Yeah, no, the BFS rods I think will become more available too. I honestly, all of this stuff is going to blow up more. It is, and again, there's like, honestly, the industry will eventually, because it's going to grow, it's going to get better and better and better. And as it gets better, there may come a day that I say I'd rather use this than spinning reels. Today's not that day. The rods they'll get there. It is
They
kind
need
of
to, dude. It's brutal, and I mean
Think about
brutal.
this. While BFS has been exploding, what else has been exploding? A pandemic that has caused supply chain across the entire world to be
Yep.
impossible. So, do you think that the rod companies, who are wildly behind in supply, do you think they're going to prioritize launching a BFS rod, or are they going to prioritize filling the demand they have on everything else? Probably filling the demand they have on everything else. So, that's part of the reason.
100%.
As we get past some of these supply chain issues, you're going to see companies like, Temple Fork or Abu Garcia or whatever, name it, they're going to take it more serious. But they're not, at this point, I think that you'll see reels before you see rods.
Oh, we already have. I mean, and I bring it up today because Jeff and I just found out that Okuma just came out with the Hakai. I don't know if you've seen it yet. It's a pretty cool reel. It's super lightweight, super small. It's got a couple of really unique features. But one of them is one of the gears is like one of the main components is like a custom made component, an aftermarket custom made component that they have built into this reel that you would normally pay like a whole bunch of money for to get is in this reel. And it's a wonderful reel. I mean, I think it's really nice. I don't know if it's like the perfect bass fishing like reel, but it's a good bass fishing reel. And I love the idea, like the idea that you're gonna be like, okay, instead of just like putting cool components in here, I'm gonna go get like the best aftermarket component that's out there. I'm gonna buy 10,000 of them, and I'm gonna shove them in this reel, and then I'm gonna send it to you. Like, I love that. Like, so like speed spool. imagine someone going and being like, I'm gonna go pay Speed Spool a whole bunch of money. I'm gonna get a whole bunch of these at cost, and then I'm gonna shove them in my whatever reel, and I'm gonna sell it to you for the same price as like the old version of this reel. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, that's cool. The Hakai comes in a BFS.
Well, and I honestly do think you raise a good point. I do think BFS is going to gain a lot of popularity for bass anglers, mostly just because, like, I mean, we all like the feel of a bait caster in our hand when it comes to bass fishing. The other thing is, like, if you're telling me that I can now skip a Cinco under a dock and not have to do it with a spinning reel, and I have the leverage of a bait casting rod and the grip of a bait casting reel, it's a
Yes.
totally different experience. So there are values, and I want to make that clear. I think just like when I talk generic around BFS, like in open water fishing and some of these things, but I think around tight quarters and some of the like light application flipping and pitching and stuff like that, there's going to be a use case, and I think the bass market's going to go nuts for it. But again, I
It's like
still
third tier problem.
yeah, I still stand by the fact that I think practicality wise, I think that your money is going to go much farther in spinning gear as far as getting a use out of it for the next
Unquestioned.
several years.
Unquestioned. I totally agree. But I will say, if someone would just make a $95, $99 BFS rod, you'd be filling a massive gap in the market today. Because right now,
I've told a company I very much respect and have some contacts with that this is something that I would like to help them do. And I think that they're probably just a little behind right now. But
Yeah.
yes, I agree.
even a 7-foot medium light bait caster, I don't know. Like, what the heck? Like, what the heck, man? I want
I'd
one
like to
so
see shorter ones. I'd like to see a 6-foot or a 5.6, and then they could also launch the one that's targeted the bass guys. But I'd like to see something for like trout
Yes,
and like
100%.
panfish and creeks. But yeah, I'm just to be clear, like I talk very like critical of the BFS thing. Like I still love it and it's still
Yeah,
fun.
it's
I'm
still
just
fun.
I'm trying to be unbiased. Like I always like try to
Yeah.
take a
Well,
step back from it, you know?
and I'm doing it on purpose with a question because I mean, and I don't want to do disservice to, I'm calling it Jeff's point, but like the other point, which is like, it's just fun. I want one because it's cool and
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
And like that's a good reason to go buy something. I want to be really clear. Like if you want to go get one because it's cool, I have
Yeah.
one. That's the reason. It's because it's cool and fun. And and every time I catch something and I'm like, that was cool and fun. That's a good reason. We did have some questions. So one of them was, I'm looking for it. It was a question about, here we go. What BFS reel would you recommend for someone to try for their first one? And that was Rockablaze.
Well, I've got two, and I have owned two others too. So I've tried 4 different ones now. And I would say that if you're just wanting to get into it, that the Cast King Zephyr, is a good entry level BFS. Now, I want to be very clear when I tell you that I wouldn't expect it to last a lifetime. And I'm not dogging on any company, but there are certain companies out there that make products that are available for a lower price, and they fully expect them not to last forever.
Yeah.
I would say that's probably the case for this. That's the case for several other entry levels, and that's okay. If you want something that's probably going to last you longer, I would probably go with the Shimano. What do you call it? The whatever Corrado BFS. Shimano BFS. Yeah, that one's obviously costly, but at the same time, I mean, it's Shimano. And trust them. They're going to use higher quality components. So those are the 2 that I currently own. Prior to that, I owned a Shimano Aldebaran, which is more like JDM. It was before they were becoming available here, so it was used, and it was great. It was almost identical to the Shimano Corrado BFS. And then you've got the then I used to have a Fish Band, a GH100, which was a Chinese made reel. Very
I don't even know what that is.
It's something you buy off of like AliExpress or whatever. I don't know. Honestly, a viewer sent it to me, and I ended up giving that one to a buddy. And then I got the Cast King Zephyr, and they're very comparable, I would say. Fish Band, Cast King, comparable. I think
same factory, probably.
Probably. There's Pisky Fun or something. I don't know how to say
Fun.
That.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So
they make one.
Yep. And I think those are also coming out of basically the same factory. The marketing all looks the same. And I've used like a handful. I've used 2 PC Funs, and I've used not BFS but reels. and then like a Runkle, and I've used a couple of Cast Kings, including the Zephyr, which I would actually recommend for somebody.
It's
It's
still
good.
fun. It's a good job.
It's a great way to get into it and have the fun of it without feeling like you wasted your money. That's what I would say is like that's my overall. And I've caught some with my son just messing around with it because I was trying to get the feel of it and get it dialed for like pitching. And I actually messed around with putting it. I know it's not. Don't rage on me, but I put it actually on an ultralight spinning reel just to see how it actually worked and like if I was going to have any problems and just messing around with it and trying to like get it all dialed. And I actually had a lot of fun with it, and I've caught a lot of fish with it. Like nothing big, but a ton of numbers with that reel because I'll take my son out to a spot where I know that like bluegill congregate like for a third or 2/3 of the year, and then there's tons of bass, and I've caught 2 pike on it actually, and I've not had any problems with it. I would actually recommend that as well as like, hey, if you just want to get into it just to test toe in the water and then maybe you sell it later or you just have fun with it, that's what I would recommend as a starting point. But I would the what is it? The Sensolite? Is that the $50?
That's a great BFS rod. Yeah.
Jeff bought an Amazon version of it. I don't remember which one, and it was garbage. And then like a week later went to the Sensolite, and yeah, Jeff. So Jeff, just so you nerds know, if you're not watching chat, Jeff is actually in chat. He says just hanging in a hot tub under a blood moon. So with the old dad pop. So I can't say that I'm jealous, to be honest with you. I mean, it sounds great. The Sulia gang, the darn Sulia gang. That I do not buy it. I casted it 3 times and handed it back. I have it on video. It was horrific.
Yeah, I would. And again, yeah, Paul, I want to be clear. It's like when I say like the things about like Cast King Zephyr, it's like I'm not saying don't buy it. I'm saying I'm not saying I've had issues with it. I'm saying that when you feel certain reels, you can tell what they're made of. And when you hold that and then you hold like, something that costs a little bit more, it is very clear night and day what costed more to produce.
It's 100% like name brand versus off name brand. And I'm not like trying to bash Cast King by any stretch. They make a ton of stuff.
No,
and they have every right to make a cheap reel. Like without that reel, you wouldn't have people getting into BFS and then going 100%. And buying their other upgrades. So that's not what this is. It's definitely a cheaper reel. There's no getting around it. Period. The end of story. But it works great. And I'm telling you, I've probably caught 50 plus fish on it last year, and I only had it for like 3 months. It's great. It works great. So it's a great recommendation, and I stick by my recommendation. All right, we're at 9:12. So I have one more question for you, and then we're gonna get into the speed round, and we're gonna do our speed round. It used to be a speed round. Now it used to be like the lightning round. Now it's the slow rolling thunder round because it never went fast.
To me, it's gonna be the slowest damn round you've ever seen.
Snail rolling thunder. I love it. It's gonna be great. But I want to ask what are like for 2022 when you look at, and you can talk mule fishing and you can talk like your channel and everything else with the kid and whatnot. When you look at this year, what are your kind of like, what are your plans? Like what gets you excited when you're like, okay, here's maybe some type of content I want to make for videos, or maybe here's what I'm going to try and do with mule fishing, or a combination of both? Or are you just like, I just can't wait to keep fishing? Like you have a trip in mind, anything like that?
That's a good question. I'll do a couple. Number one, just family. I'm excited to continue to try to be the best damn dad I can be, and teach my son and just watch him learn. Man, he's 6 months old, but like the amount of things that change over the course of like a month now is wild. And so like I'm thinking the next couple months are going to be really exciting. So I mean, I'm just excited to spend time with him. I mean, it's like absolutely the best part of every day is coming home from work and hanging with him. So that is my top thing is family. But as far as fishing goes, obviously I've got a lot of excitement for open water. I think that I don't make like numbers goals with like YouTube anymore, but I do have one simple goal, and that's to make 3 series, like short series throughout the year. And the reason I came up with that goal is because I have very much loved learning more about new species and trying to broaden my fishing talents, I should say. So like the bluegill series I have going. It's called the Pursuit of a 10, and it's still going, and it's going to keep going until I catch 10-inch bluegill. But my goal this year is to do more stuff like that with other species. So I would like to do like a crappie series. I'd like to do maybe a trout series, maybe a perch series, so on and so forth. I want to do stuff like that. So that's one thing I'm really excited about from a YouTube standpoint. And then just fishing in general, I don't know that I necessarily have a bunch of big trips planned because, again, 6-month-old baby. So it's kind of like, I can't plan a lot at this time. So I'm just going to probably fish a lot locally and just keep doing my thing, and got a lot of cool ideas in the noggin of mine. So I'm sure we'll have some fun.
Can we do a series, river smallmouth? Because I think we were supposed to do that last year. We were supposed to do that last year.
I want to do like basically, I want to devote like 5 or 6 trips in a row to just river smallies and really like, and that's on the list. It's a matter of time and priorities, but yeah, smallmouth is my favorite fish. I mean,
Jeff and I got some spots, man. We got some spots, and we got some drifts that we can do. So I feel like maybe
that's something I'm very much interested in.
We need to do that, man. Even actually, that stretch that Jeff and I fished last year?
You over by you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you mean the one that I told you about that you already
fished that? We actually fished that with somebody else earlier in the year, and I've been there many, many times. Yes, the one that you told me about.
No. Let's talk over each other.
You can have it. You can have that spot. That's fine. That spot actually is really fun. It would actually be a great kayak drift because you could just walk them over.
That'd be so much fun.
From where we decided not to continue up and then all the way down. So
that was fun. I liked giving you sass.
I'll be honest, that trip was like one of the most fun days I had fishing, and actually was one of my better days, like me personally, one of my better days fishing like the whole year.
That's because you brought your good luck charm.
I know, and it seriously worked. It was unbelievable. It's that darn, honestly, and I wish I could attribute it all to the mule jig, but it was actually that stinking the shaky head. That freaking shaky head, man. Holy crap. It just like, and that was like when I was like obsessed with it, and it really was. Yeah, that was a heckin' fun. So we're gonna have to do that. All right, slow rolling thunder. So if you're on here for the first time, welcome. Jeff goes, I'm a bad luck charm. All right, so we're gonna do the slow rolling thunder. If you don't know how this works, what we're gonna do is we're gonna give away a $25 gift card that is good to MonsterBass. It's good for anything on the site, with the exception of the subscription. So you go in there, get yourself a awesome T-shirt. They still have the Whataburger T-shirt, which is my favorite T-shirt they have on there. But they also have the Burly hats. I think they still have hats. They got all kinds of good stuff though. So go ahead and get yourself something. They get baits too. So get yourself something awesome from MonsterBass, that $25 digital gift card. And the way that we're going to decide this, I'm going to ask for the next couple of minutes. I'm going to ask Ethan some fun questions. I think I got 3. And then what we're gonna do is if you want to enter, Jeff's already entered. He says chat. So just type something in chat, participate from now on. Just type something in a chat, press enter, and you will be entered to win. And what we're gonna do is, at the end of those questions, I'm gonna ask producer Chaz, the one and only. I'm gonna say, Chaz, run us the winner. Give us a winner, and he's going to, of everyone that chatted, he's gonna randomly select a winner. Chaz and I are gonna announce your name. We're just going to expect you to say, hey, hello. And then we are going to, there's, Shaz, are we putting the rules on the screen? Instructions on the screen? Do you see the instructions on the screen? And then we will hook you up with that $25 gift card. So, slow rolling thunder. Question number 1. I'm seeing chitty chats, which is good. What is, in your opinion, the best river fishing footwear? Number 1.
It's a great question. I'm still experimenting, but as of right now, I would say something like a Tiva or Chaco has been best for me. And the reason is anything with an open toe, yes, it can suck when you bump your toe.
But it's awful. I cringe just thinking about it.
Yeah, but if you don't have that, then the rock won't get out. So if you have something that's closed and the rock gets in, you have to take your shoe off to get it out. So I would go with like a Tiva or Chaco. That's what I always wear, and I always enjoy it.
Man, you cut right to the heart of it. I am also still experimenting. Crocs are great, but they don't stay on super well, and you will get silt in them. There's no getting around it. You're gonna
And you're
take
gonna
them
get
off
a rock in
constantly,
there. Yeah.
constantly. The other thing too that people don't think about, it's leech magnet city. You'll get like a bunch of mud in there, and you will get leeches. It just happens. Now I'm a leech magnet for whatever reason. They just sniff me out somehow. But
Got
like
good blood. You got real good blood.
tasty. But yeah, they just it's an issue. So my answer right now, it's an expensive answer, but it is it's actually like a shoe and it's made by what's it? Danner. Danner Boots makes them and it's their like river shoe. It's called like the River Bottom or River
Have you
Runner.
worn these shoes?
Many times. I wore them on the day when you were out. So I've worn them maybe 6 times now. They have two DeBurley says, white New Balance is my choice. It's not far off. It's kind of good. The drawbacks to them, because they're just basically a moccasin, like a water moccasin, but they lace up, which is really nice, and they're super stretchy. So not a ton gets in, but some stuff will get in. It's really just the heel, abrasion on the heel. It can be brutal. Jeff wears a neoprene sock with his. I still wear mine barefoot. And they also, I could see them getting very stinky if you have to like walk 2 miles after you get out of the water. They're also expensive, like $150. I got mine half off. So that
big
was
half off guy over here.
that was actually no, and I actually texted Jeff like the day I bought them. And I was like, "Go get these now if you're thinking about it, because this is not going to happen again."
That's a steal.
So yeah, it actually was, but I'm still on board with those, and they're actually really great for the kayak because they've got Vibram soles. So in the kayak, they're actually even like better than like all other shoes. So they're good, but they're not perfect. I'm with you. I do think that like I would probably go on the Tiva side of things because I would wear them all of the time. But I've done the Chacos, and the Chacos have been solid. But when you get one under there, it's actually really hard to get it out.
So yeah, I liked my old cheap Tivas more than I liked my Chacos. The Chacos don't fit my feet as well, and they kind of hurt and they blister me. Whereas the Tivas never did that. I never had blisters, and they were much cheaper though. But that I just wore the crap out of them, and they exploded on me.
100%.
I need to get a new pair of Tivas because they fit my feet better, and the straps, like instead of being like the weird cross strap, it makes it to where you can actually get stuff out easier. So
yeah, the toe thing, the toe loop. You have to get the one without the toe loop. That's
nobody wants a
silent
toe
killer.
loop.
I don't understand that.
Oh,
I
man,
kind of
it's
do
a
it.
toe loop.
Yeah, like weird like people who climb and stuff like want those, I guess. But like I'm not climbing.
I'm
I
not
do
a
not need
climber.
those. Oh well, I have climbed, but I'm not. No, I'm
I
out.
climbed a few
All right.
trees.
I used to work at a climbing gym, actually. So when I was on campus at Central Michigan, I
You
worked at
are
a
a
climbing
climber.
gym. I have a climbing harness. I have a ton of climbing gear. I still have my shoes, which I haven't worn in years. I've done like every job that you can do. But yeah, I have climbed, but it's been a long time, so I
Man of
don't
many
need them.
bugs.
A man many bugs. All right, question number 2. Can the fanny pack be improved upon? Is there an improvement that could be made to the fanny pack?
Yeah, I mean, if I had the ability, I would love to launch my own fanny pack. Like make
That's
a
why I'm
custom.
asking. I'm kind of wondering, like, if there's an accessory to add to the website, I would be down to mock you one up to go send out to have a manufacturer make it. I'm down because I'm a believer. I'm a believer.
Yeah, no, I think that's a pretty costly project, but I do think that that's something I would love to do. I think a fanny pack that was like truly designed for the outdoorsman / fisherman, and you were able to kind of make the compartment more suited.
Where?
Like, oh, it fits perfectly with 3 of these small boxes, and then here's a spot for your pliers, and like here's a spot for another set of, yeah, of course that it could absolutely become improved upon. And then along the strap, maybe you have some other little, like elastic holsters to where you can put other things. It's like
Place for your beer. Yeah.
Ooh, a beer holster.
I know.
Who doesn't want a beer holster? I could use a beer holster about 99% of the time.
I could use one right now. If I didn't have this table, I'd be using it.
If I had a beer holster, I'd probably have a beer right now, but I don't have a beer. I have a holster.
So I will actually tell you this, Ethan. I actually almost bought you from my local fly shop a hip pack. It's a hip belt, so it's a little thicker than what you're used to, but it's got like a harder foam case, and it is It's
The
made by
fly
Fish.
fishing guys, there's some pretty cool fly fishing stuff out there.
Dude, they
They always put a fly fishing logo on it, and then it costs another $100.
so that the waterproof bag that
clientele.
oh yeah. The bag that Jeff and I use is the Fish Pond Thunderhead, and it's waterproof, which is great for camera gear, so I can carry all my batteries and all that. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
They make a non-waterproof version. I have the Orvis version of it that's much cheaper as a sling pack, but they all make hip packs, and I feel like there's a hip pack out there for Ethan, and I'm gonna find it, and if I don't buy it for you, I mean, it might just show up on your door one day. It's totally worth it because I feel like it could. I know there's something to mule fishing and like the whole like all I need is my fanny pack. But I feel like if you tried the upgrade fanny pack, you might.
No, absolutely.
You might cross over.
The chest packs for fly fishing. If I didn't wear a GoPro on my chest, then I would wear one of those.
It's if you weren't 6. What are you, 6'5"?
I'm 6'6". Thank you very much.
Sorry, I didn't mean to disparage you. No, yeah, because this was the thing that. No, this is hilarious. That's great. Yep, I'm 5'2". So the what really killed me fishing. I'm fishing with Jeff. I'm fishing behind them too, so I'm like 20 yards behind.
It was me, then Jeff, and you, but it was marching order.
It was by height. So you got 6'6", like 6'4", whatever, and then you got whatever I am, apparently 5'2". And I remember walking.
Aren't you?
No, I'm like 5'11", like on a good day. So we're walking, and I'm looking ahead, and I haven't obviously gone through the stretch of water that they have, and I'm seeing them, and they're like hip height, right? Ethan's fanny pack hasn't even gotten wet. Jeff's like barely, his belly button hasn't gotten wet, and I am like dunking my buddies like as I get in the water. I'm like struggling to survive and not get swept away by the modest current.
I was still ankle deep. He's like,
like, oh my god. Yeah, and it was
standing there. What's wrong, buddy?
So yeah, you can get away with a fanny pack or a hip back. I need a backpack or maybe something on my hat because not all of us are. We're not built for that.
The container you drink out of with the straws, except you just have your baits in it.
I just like bring through the straw like an extra wide straw. I just go ahead and bring myself like a new flipping bait. Like this is why we're not allowed to do anything. Oh, all right. This one
got a clog.
There's 2 Senkos. I needed one. All right. The last one is as a father. Is there a reason for button-up PJs when it's 2022 and you can get zip-up PJs in any number that you desire? Is there any reason for the button PJ?
I can tell you we got a plethora of gifts from people, more clothes than we needed. And the ones that are very clean and don't have stains on them happen to have buttons. The ones that are magnetic?
No, that's a thing?
Dude, magnetic is next level. Magnetic and zipper are both fine, but the magnetic, that was just an absolute
Lord.
Yeah, dude. It just you just fold it over and it goes and then it's stuck.
I don't even know what to say right now. That's incredible.
They're sweet.
Totally worth it. So if you're not a parent, whenever someone buys you button-up PJs, they either hate you or they're not a parent. There are no other answers. If they were out of stock, they would have got you a gift card. That's all I'm saying. Because every parent knows that zippers
are pretty cute though.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't. No, don't give me that.
The worst is literally just to be clear, we put all of the clothes on him, and he'll probably barf on it within an hour. Yeah. So he gets a lot of changes of clothes. But the worst ones, but we still dress him in these quite frequently, are the ones where you just have to pull it over his head, it's got and it's kind of as soon as I start going over his head, I get it past him, and then I gotta just make him laugh, and he's like, okay, I'm fine. But he hates the shirt getting pulled over his head. It's
my son hated that until he was 2. And trying to do it with a 1.5-year-old is horrific. I have stretched the seams on shirts just to get through whatever it was that I was gonna have to deal with at 5 a.m. I will also say this. I did not know this, but my wife made me aware of this. You know how there's an extra seam folded over, where they're over folded? You know
there's a button on there.
Even if there's no button, where they're 2 overlapped seams right here, it's so that you can open it up wide enough where if they poop themselves, you can just go past the shoulders and down
Yeah.
without having to drag the pooper over their head. And I didn't find that out until it was my second kid, and I was like, where was I when this class was being taught? This is genius, absolute genius. So, pro tip. Anyways, we're past that. Great answers all around. I have one more question, but before we ask that question, I want to get to the giveaway. So, Chaz, we're going to give everyone a second. There's like a 15-second delay. So, Chaz, announce our giveaway winner. Wait, Daniel who? Daniel Hedrick. I don't think he's won yet. Daniel Hedrick, you are the winner. So, when you see this,
is it possible to draw another winner if I have like some stuff I could give someone?
absolutely, we can have 2 winners. What kind of question is that? Chaz, can you roll
draw a second winner, number 2?
Roll us the second winner, Chaz. No way. Roll the second winner. Daniel, we're just waiting for you to say, "Hey, what's up? I'm excited." And then we're going to have you follow the instructions on the screen. And while we're waiting for you to do that, Chaz is going to run us the second winner for Ethan. Fantastic. Alex,
if you ask me.
Too easy. Alex, you are the winner. I already know you're here. You said congratulations. So we're going to wait for him. Now, while we're waiting for Alex and Daniel to say, "Oh my God, I won," I do have a last question. My last question is, can we rename the shorter version of the horsefly? Can we just go ahead and dub that horse slacks? The horse slack.
Yeah, I thought I saw that and thought that was really funny. Of course, that's fantastic.
Okay, good. Because I'm going to start doing it as a hashtag, and I'm just going to start using it all of the time so that I can use the hashtag horse slacks.
No, that's cool. I mean, honestly, whatever other hashtags are out, or whatever other posts are out there, hashtag horse slacks, I'd be very curious to see. So please do.
So if you guys don't know, Ethan was talking earlier about the horsefly, which is another I have one right here. I'll grab one.
I do too. This thing's been sitting here for a while. I need to go fish the daggum thing.
You have one?
So they cut it in half and then they call it horse slacks. But to be fair, and they came up with a creative name for it. But I was the one who showed them they could cut it in half.
It's so genius, though. It really is genius. And actually, Jeff had a.
What did he just say? It looked like a pair of slacks or something. So then you.
And I was like, they're horse slacks. Actually, it was pants. Jeff was like, "It's like a pair of pants for my jig," and then I was like, "The horse slacks."
It should be the horse chaps.
You know what? That might be better. I was trying to I was going with the pants, and I was like, pants isn't really doing it. Chaps is way better. It also falls right in line with the whole mule fishing thing. So it's like, there's so many layers. There's layers to it. All right, chaps. I think that's the one.
You've already coined it slacks. I'll call it chaps. You call it slacks.
But horse chaps rolls off the tongue way better. I mean, I'm fine to give it up. I'm open to
give it up.
Horse chaps.
The creativity trumps yours this time.
Yep, you own it, Jeff. You heard it here. He wasn't even here. He didn't even need to be here. It's horse chaps. It's already been sanctioned. I saw Daniel, and then I saw Alex. So I'm assuming we're good to go.
Alex, you just DM me on Instagram, so we're good.
The best of the best. What a dude. I'm so glad. I love it when the regulars win, and I love seeing cool people win it. So that's heckin' awesome. And actually, if I remember correctly, Alex, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think you fish a lot of dams. So the edges of that dam that you go to, I think you're gonna be in a great spot here.
I'll get you set up with some mule stuff, but I also got a Ned Rig for Life shirt that I'll get you. So it's like a little sun shirt action. It's bright green. You won't be missed out there.
25 out of 10. All right, everybody. That is the show that we had for you. Ethan, thank you so much. Thank you so much again for being here with us tonight. If you haven't already, go look up mule fishing. Chaz, you're gonna carpet bomb them with the old links. If you haven't checked out mule fishing, please do so. I will, and if you have any questions, I'm not going to tell you to ask Ethan, but I'm sure he would answer your questions. But you can ask me. I've used everything, and I love all of their baits, and I'd be happy to answer your questions. But ask away. Go check out the site. Go check out mule fishing. Go check out Online Outdoorsman. He posted a video of crappie that I could only dream of catching under the ice. And that's him on a bad day. So if you want, dude, some giants. So go check out his videos when he's able to post them, and go follow him on Instagram. He is a wonderful follow. Ethan, anything you want to leave the folks with?
Nope, I just appreciate you guys having me on. I had a lot of fun tonight, and hopefully we can do this again. I know I've already been blessed to be on here twice, but if you would ever have me a third time, I would absolutely do it. I always have a good time. So, yeah, as Paul said, find me at Mule Fishing and then Online Outdoorsman. Working on a lot of things. I'm really excited for 2022, and so I'm excited to hear from all of you in 2022 as well. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, and we will have you back, and maybe we'll even have you as a host. I'll boot Jeff again and be like, I need my actual host back. All right, everyone.
Someone recommended Debo, me, and you guys at the same time, which I'm totally for.
Well, I'll say
Charles,
to
you
the
want?
chat. I also made this as a joke beforehand when Paul wasn't going to be on. Get Debo on, have him in Jeff's spot, and we won't even, like, we will call him Jeff.
Just don't acknowledge it.
And just have him
because they look the same. They look identical. And actually, my idea has been, I was telling Charles this, my idea has been, I want them individually to take a picture of like just their background like that. And then that way I can make it use the filter where it puts it behind you so they can swap and then just don't tell anybody and then see how long it takes someone to realize that like Jeff is in, you know, Debo's office and like vice versa. So that was my, oh God. All right. Well, that's what we have for you, everyone. Please, I never said this before, but like, subscribe, notification bell, do all the stuff. Keep in mind, we do have some shirts coming within like maybe the next couple of weeks. No, don't hold me to that, but I'm working as fast as I can. So we've got some new shirts coming. So please consider joining the nerd community at the Snorlax level, and you will get that shirt for free. And that's what we have for you. Thank you, everyone. Have a good week. We will see you next week. We do have more guests, so they're all going to be surprised. I'm not going to look at the calendar. Jeff makes me do that. I'm not doing it tonight. That's where I'm drawing the line. And with that, thanks everyone. Have a great night. And Chaz, please take us out.
Took a swing at a wrecking ball and I prayed for my downfall and I found a way to reconcile, 'cause in my heart it's not worthwhile. It's a bloody battlefield where sun go down, others heal. In the end it's all the same. All you can do is play the game. Oh, do we say goodbye? Refuse to question why. I'm sad to say I'm sorry, so lie. Pretend that you're okay. Swear that you will stay. Keep trying for one day. I'm sick of all these lies. Don't care if I capsize. There's nothing left for me to hide. Don't wanna live a lie. Too many lows, too many highs. Too many things to criticize. And so I leave it all behind. Don't wanna live a lie. Life kept spitting at my feet and forced me down a dead-end street when all I had went up in flames, burning only dark remains. I cover up every part of my skin, oh, 'cause I don't like the person within, oh. I know I'm the one to blame. All I can do is take the shame, oh. Do we say goodbye? Refuse to question why. I'm too sad to say I'm sorry, so lie and pretend that you're okay. Swear that you will stay. Keep trying for one day. Whoa, I'm sick of all these lies. Don't care if I capsize. There's nothing left for me to hide. Don't wanna live a lie. Too many lows, too many highs. Too many things to criticize. So I leave it all behind.
I capsize. Oh no. I got enough of every melody, they all sound the same. Yeah. For my broken heart, no remedy, but maybe if you stay, we can get away with it. 'Cause you make me